Alright, and now I think we're taking on the South Bend Snowflakes this week. This is Andy from the Kalamazoo Kangaskhans, hopping right back into another big match this week. Our opponent seems to have some threats like a Deoxys, if memory serves. Just going to double check that they are searching for the battle to begin. Alright, they are searching as well. My team this time around is a little bit more, shall we say, pivot-centric. Not really trying to sweep, although Volcarona definitely makes you think otherwise. Okay, so there's the Deoxys, the Darkrai, Pheasant... Oh, Kanto Torios, okay. Given the rules of our league, the only one of his Pokemon allowed to Terrestrialize is Araquanid. I'm kind of surprised to have not seen the Alomomola brought along. Which means that this Araquanid is either Terra Water, Ghost, or Grass. If I had to make an assumption on a lead, they probably want to get that Araquanid to get the Sticky Web set up as soon as possible, which would lead me to believe that I either need to lead Mousehold to threaten to just tidy up to clear it, or lead Raikou just to safely try to scare it out, maybe Volt Switch to regain positioning. I don't think either of the hazard setups off of like a Pheasantipity or a Deoxys is likely the route they went. I could potentially lead Garchomp, but just turn 1 Terrestrialize Araquanid does get punished by that, so I think we do just lead the Raikou and just play it extra safe. Okay, they just straight up led the Darkrai. I have to admit, I did not see that one coming, but this is Assault Vest, so barring a 60% Hypnosis hit, we could just try for the Aura Sphere just to try to see if they would want to do the full amount of damage turn 1. Yeah, they're just going for it. No flinch, please? Good, good. That's good damage. Is it Citrus? Lefties. Okay, that makes more sense. I think we just Volt Switch now. They don't really have a great reason to stay in. And this way we can read a switch, we can still hit the knockout range, we're still good either way. Sorry if you hear typing in the background, I am just making sure that I am properly recording the knockout ratios between the Pokemon in this match, and Raikou does secure the first knockout of the game. Whoops, I think I hit the camera there a little bit. If they do try to bring in the Araquanid, I do just want to threaten Mousehold's tidy up. There you go. Sorry, I guess I didn't really have my opponent's HP bar in the shot for a second there. Going straight to the Tauros. The fact that this is not a Terra Captain is interesting to me. Do I just assume that there's a fighting move like a close combat and just go straight into defensive Garchomp? I think that's my safest bet. Yeah, because there's still an Arachnid in the back I really don't want to deal with. Or at least not have to deal with the sticky webs the whole game if I can avoid it. Was I right on the close combat? Yes, I was. Okay, good damage there. I think this is just set up either rocks or spikes. They don't really have a designated spinner, unless it's like defog Pheasantipity. I think at that point I still want to set up rocks anyways. Hard swapping out Tauros, that does make sense, and bringing in Terapagos. This also cannot terrestrialize in this battle. Admittedly, I don't have the greatest amount of practice against non-Terrestellar Terapagos. I do know the Terra Shell makes it resist one attack, guaranteed. I have to wonder if that means I want to just stay in and Dragon Tail to break the Terra Shell, but at the same time, this thing can be a menace and hit really hard. I'm assuming it has Ice Beam, which would mean I would want to bring in Volcarona. Or I can just bring in Slowking and play it incredibly safe regardless. Its own hazards. Okay, that does make sense. Was not expecting that to be the Stealth Rocker. I think we do just go for a Sludge Bomb to either fish for 30% poison, or break the Terra Shell, or honestly just kind of figure out what they're doing first. Ah, this is their spinner as well. Once again, did not see that one coming. Terra Shell broken, and the poison has been established. Very good. I think Terapagos likely wants to hazard stack again, which means I am incentivized to Chilly Reception out to safety. To make sure that the hit goes onto Slowking and not the Mousehold I would likely want to bring in. Well, okay, if they switch, it doesn't really change much of anything there. Fairy Poison. I think my best bet is just Mousehold here. I think Mousehold should outspeed this. But we can't exactly Encore trap it or anything just yet. Okay, that's not the attack drop. That actually is really unfortunate. Oh, don't love that. I should outspeed, right? With +1. Do I trust Population Bomb to one-shot? Probably not, but it is Wide Lens. I think we just go for the chip. That doesn't look like it's a KO. 5, yeah, no. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good damage, but not a KO. And no play rough miss. Unfortunately, the attack drop from that play rough really did matter. But getting rid of the rocks was incredibly helpful from Mousehold, so I can't really complain. I think that means I actually want to bring in Volcarona and start Quiver Dancing. Otherwise, I will probably lose tempo a little too quickly. I guess there is always just Volt Switch with Raikou to just pivot. I will take a chance on Volcarona here. Pheasantipity doesn't typically have like a rock move. They chose to stay in though. U-turn, they're chancing the burn on the Flame Body. And, well, okay, that might come up later. Tauros. You would only do that if you had a... I would assume like a Rock Slide or a Stone Edge. Which could just mean swapping back to Garchomp to tank it, but I don't know if that's necessary. It almost seems like just bring in Urshifu, take the hit, click a close combat, and something's going down. I don't hate that. Yeah, I think we go for it. And there is the Rock Slide. And just making sure they have no... Okay, well they have a Deoxys for a Fighting Resist. I don't think they would want to bring in a Deoxys against an Urshifu, though. They're just going to sack the Pheasantipity for tempo, that's probably correct. Araquanid. Okay, this is the one I wasn't so sure about. Because now it is in, and I don't have my Tidy Up anymore. I don't think close combat's going to do a ton. I'm like 90% certain this is Sticky Web this turn. No, they just went straight for the liquidation. Interesting. Well, I have to admit I made a wrong read on that one. Wouldn't be a terrible idea to just bring in Slowking and try to play this out a little slow. We can just threaten some future sight damage over time, and because the Darkrai's gone, there's no immunity in the back. And if the Deoxys does try to come in on it, we have Sludge Bomb to still threaten somewhat significant damage. They're really thinking this one over now. Nope, they're still just going for it. That damage makes me think that was choice band, but I also could be wrong. I think I have to just bring in Garchomp and just get whatever residual I can. There's the sticky web. Okay, so it's not choiced. Yeah, we set up rocks again. Is this the Terapagos once more? No, it's just the Tauros. Notably, this does not intimidate Tauros, which I find strange. Would it just be reckless? Oh, no. Okay. Well. Okay, it'll take itself out with the rough skin. Terapagos is back, probably to set up hazards, if I had to wager a guess, or trying to spin away my rocks again. Do I just want damage right now? I think I outspeed, unless I want to go minus priority on Dragon Tail. I think we just go for damage. They're also stealth rocking again. Does this hit the range, or does it survive? Okay, I don't know if that critical hit mattered. It looked like it was a range. Deoxys doing what Deoxys does and being incredibly intimidating. But I do have an Urshifu Dark in the back who is ready to sucker punch the daylights out of it. And it went for the Ice Beam, assuming Garchomp was staying in. I guess that makes sense, and it's Life Orb. Ah, yeah, that'll do it. Okay. Fair play. Ice Beam Extreme Speed, so Volcarona is not safe. I think it's Slowking still. I'm curious if I bait a Psychic move and then just pivot now. This might almost just be a slack off angle. But I do want to just try for the day. Ah, yeah. If they do have all the coverage, there's not a ton that can be done there. We live 1E speed, right? Oh. I guess it's all just over. Yeah, not a ton I can do when my read was wrong on the Urshifu. Yep, alright. Well, first loss of the season. I guess I'll see you guys next time.